and welcome. We here at St. John's are beginning a new way of communicating with our community, and that is this video blog, this video interview that we are going to begin doing, and we're calling it Eagle Eye on Ringtown. What the significance of that is we are St. John's Lutheran Church, and the symbol for St. John is the eagle. And what we are going to do over the next few months with interviews is talk to people both in our congregation, sharing our congregation's ministries, and in our community, sharing some of the things that are happening in our community through the organizations that do work on behalf of others. So as we go along, we will share these videos, these recordings with you, so hopefully you are brought up to date on some of our organizations and all the many wonderful things they do for our community. So tonight, our first episode is within our congregation. It is a program called Readers on the Grow. This is a program sponsored by St. John's Think Tank Committee. Our Think Tank Committee basically works at connecting with our congregational members and our community in ways that make a difference, in ways that touch people's lives in a positive way. And one of the ways that we do this in our congregation is through this program called Readers on the Grow, which is a program of giving books to our young people. Here to help us learn more about Readers on the Grow is one of the people who brought the idea to our committee, and you all know him, Bob Llewellyn. So welcome, Bob. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having me here.
Sure. And so my first question is, can you just briefly describe Readers on the Grow?
Well, it's a program where we start giving newborns a Hug a Bible, and we continue giving these children books every 2 months, basically 6 times a year, until they reach the age of 5.
Okay. And why did the committee think that this was an important program?
I think everyone on the committee knows the importance of reading. Reading also links family members to each other. It involves families doing things with each other, and I think we all realize that that's an important function in today's society. But reading is especially important since so many of us learn a lot of things through reading. So we wanted to encourage reading through our church.
Great, and we do develop language skills and other skills through our reading process. So wonderful. Can you tell me where the idea came from? Because you brought it to the committee.
Well, Judy and I visit Dollywood every year, a couple times a year, and we were down for Christmas, which is one of our favorite times to go. And we were walking out of the park to the tram pickup area, and there were a bunch of flyers hanging on a post, and I grabbed one, folded it up, threw it in my coat pocket, took it back to the hotel room, and after a while I thought, oh geez, I have this pamphlet in my pocket. I reached in and I read about the Inspiration Library, and they were like, holy gee, this is a really neat program. And then Judy read it and said, this is pretty cool, and we decided that we should take it back to the think tank for discussion.
Okay. And as the discussion went on, the committee decided to do this as part of our ministry in our congregation, basically, as you said, newly baptized children receiving a book until the age of 5. What was the hope that the result of this program would bring about?
A couple different things. One, we wanted to promote the family and reading as a unit, sharing time with each other. And we also know the importance of reading in everyone's life. So it was purely an extension to the family and to the child to encourage them to get involved with reading and exploring other avenues of learning besides reading. Because reading just takes you anywhere you want to go. It's such a fantasy world. I only read factual information, so I don't get into some of the other stuff. But whatever you like. But a child has to be exposed to reading if they're going to really read further on down the line. So that was our hope.
Nice. So the program's been going on for several years. I'm sure you might even know how many years it's been going on. What do you think the committee and you personally have seen as being the positives from this program?
We get positive feedback from the parents. It comes to primarily, I think, the person who facilitates this, Janine, and she brings those comments to us where the parents really like the book, the interaction. The child looks forward to getting this book in the mail, so it's kind of like a win-win situation for everybody. And I think it goes back to what we all think, is that reading is important. And you stimulate people when they're young, they will probably turn out to be readers for the rest of their life. So I think that was our goal, to promote, reading and learning in general, and family unity.
And if I may add to that, I think one of the other things that we talked about as a committee is that at baptism, a child becomes a member of the congregation. And the congregation makes certain promises over that child's life too, kind of becomes sponsors in their development. And so we, I think as a committee, also thought that we were impacting their lives as they were young, growing and developing, and hopefully, having fun when the new book comes, and not only learning, but being excited about it. And that brings a connection between the family, the parents, the child, and the congregation.
I think at our last meeting, didn't one of the members say that this one little guy loved the book so much he kept reading it over and over again? And by the way, I was looking through my notes before we came here. I wasn't sure when the program started, but my notes indicate that it started somewhere in mid-2014. So I was surprised. I didn't think it went back that far. So it's been around for quite a while now. So that's pretty good, I think.
Great.
And I think, right now, I think we have 28 children in the program, and in the past, I know we've had over 30 people. So it's been pretty successful, I think.
Nice. So how is the program funded? How do these books get distributed? And along with that, are there any particular kind of books that we send out? Are they all religious books or church books, or do they run the gamut? And how do we fund the program?
Well, it's a sweet way we fund the program. We fund it with our Mr. Sticky program. And anybody who's ever had a Mr. Sticky knows it's a good deal. So we fund it primarily through our Mr. Sticky sales, and then we have a fall festival and the table rentals and things like that. We take and put into our fund for the Readers on a Grow program. And then of course we get donations periodically from parents, grandparents, or whoever. And that's the way the program is pretty much funded. And it's been self-sustaining. The program has grown over the years, financially. So that's a big plus, because we started out basically with no money, So we're doing well. We're doing quite well. So for the support that we've been receiving, it's been pretty well accepted by people, I think.
Nice. And I do know that the books that we do send out, some of them do have a religious theme, particularly around holiday times.
Yeah.
But throughout the year, almost any kind of genre of children's books. Some of them are the sticker books, or some of the harder covered books, and some of them are more rhymey books that deal with all kinds of issues that children may face. So it's not just religious books, but they are included in some of our mailings as well.
Sure.
So is there any way that others outside of the program, outside of our committee, maybe in the congregation or outside of the congregation, can support this ministry that we do and help us to achieve our goal of continuing to furnish books for young people?
Probably the easiest way is for just a contribution, and we get that periodically in someone's memory, or a donation for a particular child, which goes to help everybody. So we have a committee that kind of selects the books and things like that. So I don't know what kind of input people could have. They can make suggestions for books, I'm sure, and stuff like that. But the committee primarily handles the selection and the distribution of the books. But the support, whether it's a verbal support or a good job, neat program, and we've had comments like that too. And I know sometimes when we have baptisms here, some of the people from outside our church are really impressed with the program. When they see that, and then when they find out about it, because I know just a neighbor friend of mine didn't know that we were running this program when we had our fall festival. And she said, this is such a great program. She actually donated additional money to the program because she thought it was a fantastic idea. So this will help to get the word around, because I think it's a very important program. And once people find out about it, they're pretty impressed, and some will support it. Financially primarily is the way people support it right now. But also just a verbal, good job is always welcome too.
And finally, are there any future thoughts from the committee or anything that the committee is looking forward to in the future with this program that we can share or maybe point out?
I'm not sure. I think with COVID, we've come to realize the importance of electronic communication. And that might be an avenue that we may take a look at down the road. I'm not sure. Hopefully, you know, in a few years, you know, if we get our new church, that's gonna be very adaptable to interviews and to learning via electronics or, you know, other ways. And I think this is just it's kind of like a elementary, you know, step for us. But I think electronically might be the future for us, because it seems to be the future for everything. Because you can get books online, you know, you get audio books. I mean, who knows? I mean, it's just kind of wide open. So we will explore different areas. But I think maybe electronically might be the future for us.
So in summing up, both the Readers on the Grow program and the think tank, how important is it for us to continue to be engaged with the community and with the people around us?
Well, at one time, the church was kind of like an inclusive body, but we've come to realize over time that our mission extends far beyond the walls, and not only religiously, but socially as well. I mean, so I think we've taken our responsibility, you know, out into the community with our reading program, with our fall festival, and our movie nights and other things that we do throughout the year to try to engage our community. It's about people. It's about sharing time, sharing each other, and just being, you know, being together and having a good time. So I think that's where, you know, that's what we're looking at.
Okay. Well, thank you for being part of our first episode. We appreciate it. And thank you for sharing with us so many of the aspects of our Readers on the Grow program.
Okay.
And in the future, we will be looking at other organizations in town. We know that we want to talk to some of the community organizations as well and have interviews with some of the leaders so that they can share with us some of the things that they are doing as well. But for now, that's it for this episode. Thank you for joining us, and we will let you know when the next one will be.